Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video, and thank you for all the love you showed on my two previous videos. So this video is going to serve as a story time slash motivational piece for anyone who is an employee or an employer, anyone who is joining the workforce for the first time, or if you've been part of the workforce, took a break and considering coming back. This video is definitely for you. So make yourself comfortable, grab a snack, because it's gonna be good. So, as I mentioned in my first video, I moved here when I was 21 years old. I moved here in December of 2006. I started working in January, of 2007. So here's the deal. When I first came here, obviously I had no contacts. I didn't know what avenues to take to get a job. I looked in the back of a newspaper and I found this real estate gig that I went into. Obviously, we know in real estate you get paid through commission. To get paid, you need to have a real estate license. I wasn't anywhere there as yet. I just went every day just to give me something to do, just to, keep the juices flowing. And I did learn a lot from that real estate place after being there for like a month and a half. Fast forward to January, I got a job at the school we were going to refer to as M. And I was super excited because I knew that, I'm going to get paid here. There's no commission issue. This was my first real American job. It was also, a way to make my first real American paycheck. I was super duper excited. And then yeah, so I was so excited. I went to work. I did everything I had to do. And not long after starting, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, there was this lady who worked there who pulled me to the side and said, basically, when you get paid, don't spend your money, wildly. Save your money because the paychecks tend to be few and far in between after a while. I took what she said with a grain of salt because I felt like, what do you mean? People not getting paid? How does that even translate? I had worked, mind you, in St. Lucia for 2 schools. One school, I had a 1-year contract with them. I worked there. It was great. Got my money on time. No issues. Second school, I worked for 2.5 years until it was time to move to New York. Still, no issues. Got my money on time just the same. So my brain couldn't process people not getting their money. Like, what does that even mean? So here I was working in New York City. I honestly had my moment where I felt like sheep in the big city. It did feel a little overwhelming at first, being in a school with all of these new rules, different procedures and all of that. But I am always eager to learn something new. So, hey, I went with the flow. First paycheck came on time. Second paycheck came on time. Third paycheck, there was a bump in the road. The story that I received was that the accounts were being transferred from Washington Mutual, if any of you remember that bank, to Chase. And so once everything got sorted out, then I would get paid. I was like, okay, whatever. I'm a team player. It didn't seem that major to me. And plus, I wasn't broke. I did, heed some of the advice of that woman. And I did, keep my dollar close to my heart. So after that time, there were a few other discrepancies with pay. There was pay on the Monday, pay late because, parents didn't pay their tuition, which I started to feel like, okay, this story, I've heard it like a couple of times, and this is becoming real, like, BS. Like, okay, you can't have the same problem over and over and over again. And then, when you feel like you deserve something and somebody is withholding it, you start to resent that person. And I started to resent not my job because I love what I do, but I started to resent administration. I don't know them personally, but they were in the building every day, that is, except for when it's time for teachers to get paid. And when I would see them, I would just get this feeling in my heart like, I cannot stand you, because I knew they were lying. I knew it. I knew they were lying based on the way that they lived, based on the cars that they drive, based on the things that they, wore and that their kids and their grandkids wore. I knew that there was, deceit happening, and that just drove me up the wall. I especially became frustrated one year when it was my birthday. And I know everybody takes their birthday pretty seriously. And I mean, I never do too much for my birthday, but I would like to have something nice on my birthday. And I walked into the school and noticed right away that the head of the school, which is who paid you, she was not there. But the second in command, who was her daughter, was. So I walked up to her and I said to her, hey, I understand Miss So-and-so isn't here, but this weekend is my birthday, and I would really like to get paid this weekend. So she said, and these were her words verbatim, okay, I'll call Ma. I'll tell her what you said, but let me do it quickly before somebody else comes with some stories. And I was like, in my mind, my face was like, but in my mind it was like, what? Before somebody comes with a story for their money? Are you kidding me? But, I pretty good at playing the good girl role. So I was like, yeah, nod, smile, and walked away. And it had been that way for a long time. I spent 5.5 years working there. I could literally probably count on both hands in 5.5 years how many times I actually got my money on time. I want to give you this story so that you understand that sometimes if you see someone behaving a particular way towards their job, it's not because they're lazy, it's not because they're ungrateful, it's because they're dealing with the BS that comes with being an employee. In 5.5 years, there was just this high school behavior, this behavior of even a parent would walk by and then you would see people from admin going, and you're like, bruh, you're not in high school. You're an owner of a business. Calm the hell down. It's not that serious. It was sort of like, oh, we don't like you because somebody said you want to open your own school. Yeah, I did. Because I saw how you did it and I saw a way that I could do it even better. I wanted to do better for myself because apparently you're living la vida loca, driving fancy cars, and I'm not getting paid. So I want to do my own so I won't have to depend on you. And it was just a bunch of messiness and dishonesty across the board, day after day after day. Even pettiness, which you expect not to find in a workplace, but you do. But the level of pettiness was basically like 5-year-old, literally 5-year-old pettiness. And it got to the point where I was like, this can't be it. I have to find something else. So I sat my butt down after watching this movie, Nursery University, and I sent out my resume to 20 places. 20. Mind you, the school had been receiving like continuing education stuff from colleges and whatever, and they never passed it on to their teachers because it's almost like they wanted to keep you pinned down here in a certain salary bracket. And I wasn't having it. So I sent my resume out to 20 places and I got a call back. What? Went on an interview. I took a day off. I went on an interview. Obviously, I didn't tell them that I was going on an interview. Who does that? Another day, the new job asked me to come in to do like a demo lesson. And I went ahead and I did that also. And then I found out that I was hired. So throughout the summer, they expect you to keep your classroom sort of clean because they're prepping for the new year. So they want you to clean everything out, take stuff off your walls, blah, blah, blah. I was doing that faithfully, but I was also packing up my stuff so I could get the heck out of there because I knew I had already received the job. When the day came for me to start the new job, I went to work. I went to work wearing the school t-shirt, which you were required to wear in the summer. I walked in with an envelope which carried what read my immediate resignation. I walked in, and at about 10:30, I went to the educational director's office, and she was not part of the tree. She was new. She was part of a cycle of educational directors who had come through the building, and I handed her my immediate resignation. She asked me if I wanted an increase. She asked me to tell her what made me unhappy, And I said basically to her, you know what? I've given 5.5 years. It's just time for me to move on. Thank you. Please express my gratitude to the owners. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Mind you, she was not the one who hired me. She'd only been there like 2 or 3 months prior to me leaving. But I just wanted to extend my thanks to her and through her, so that she could pass it on to the owners of the school. And then knowing how petty they were, I know that they would probably say that they fired me. So I went to each and every class and told each and every teacher myself that I just resigned. It was nice working alongside you. God bless. And they were all like stunned. And I was like, because the school had such a high turnover rate that a lot of these teachers met me there. There were a few that were there before me, probably like 2, but a lot of them met me there. So they were very shocked that a teacher as active as I was in the school and everything would just up and leave. But very few teachers know what I had been dealing with. So I walked throughout the school, told everybody that I was leaving. And then after submitting my letter of resignation, which is basically my immediate resignation, I picked up my bag and I walked out of the school. And this like a load just lifted off my shoulders. I felt relieved. It was like, and I hate to say this, but it's like I just got let out of prison. I started at a new job and immediately they were like, hey, you said you were going to go to school, so we just found this opportunity at this college. They've been calling because they want to find out if we have anyone who's interested in coming to school. And I was like, heck yeah. And I started going part-time to school. So here I was getting days off, paid days off, and the director saw it fit to encourage me to go to school. Mind you, I stayed at that job for 4 years. And I left because, I felt a little slighted when it came to teachers who were of a different race, who did not perform well, who did things that were directly against the rules of the school, but who sort of got like an understanding pat on the back. And I felt like this is not the place for me. I gave it 4 years. It was great. That place I also left, and now I'm at a new job. This is to say that you have to pay attention to the place that you're working, and you have to pay attention to just even the smallest things, people's attitude towards you, the directors or the boss's attitude towards you, the directors or the boss's attitude towards other employees and customers if you serve people. Just pay attention because it really tells you about their character as a person. Mind you, when you're working for someone, your goal is not to be their friend. That's not why you're there. You're there to perform your task to the best of your ability, and at the end of the day, or however long, at the end of the week, month, whatever, get paid. And that's the end of that. You're not there to be friends with anybody. Yes, a lot of the times we do make friends with our coworkers, and that's great if they are genuine friendships. I know that I have made genuine friendships with people that I have worked with. But when it comes to like your boss or your supervisor, these people are not your friends. They're there to do their job and to make sure that you do yours. And as much as they may seem friendly to you and smile in your face and you know that if you screw up one time, they'll be on you like white on rice. I encourage you that when you're looking for a job to really go through the company's mission statement. If you're looking for a job at a school, go to that school's website, look at their calendar, look at their schedule, look at their curriculum. Really take time to do your research. Sometimes your job may be really crappy and you're ready to like jump ship and get the hell out of there. But take your time and do your research, because what will happen, it's sort of like you will jump from one bad situation to the next. And sometimes it pays to sometimes stick it out, because what happens is on your resume, or in other countries you call it your CV, which is your curriculum vitae. I think it's curriculum vitae, I hope I'm right, but I know it's CV. When people look at, your job history and they see that you've jumped from place to place to place, and when they ask you the issue with each, resignation of yours, and you blame others, then it may seem like the problem might really be you. So it pays sometimes to stick it out. It pays sometimes to just let things slide off your back and not take everything to heart and not take everything personal. But it does pay most of all to do your research and know where you're going. You can't always know everything, you know, to the fullest extent, but it does pay to do as much, I'm getting tired, as much research as possible before you quit your job, before you say peace out and you leave. And another thing, when you're leaving, don't do it in a rude, it doesn't matter what happened at your previous job. It literally doesn't matter. Don't leave on a bad note. Be professional about it. Be courteous about it. Be respectful. If you are able to give 2 weeks notice, do that. I didn't give 2 weeks notice at the M place because I knew that if once I gave 2 weeks notice that they would be all over me, because this is what they did to other people who did go about it the right way and gave them 2 weeks notice. They treated them badly. They stopped paying them. The pay cycle got worse for them. They would blatantly, like, this person would come to them and ask them for supplies or something. They would blatantly ignore them. I knew exactly what happened, and I wasn't about to deal with that. So I just gave them my immediate resignation. It was in the summertime anyway. It's not like, you know, they couldn't get another teacher. As I said, it was a revolving door of people. And I knew what was best for me. I knew I needed to get out of there, or else I would be perpetually stuck and I wouldn't go anywhere in life, really. And now at the school that I am, which is my third job since 2007, I am happy. I am able to do what I want to do. I am able to learn more. I'm able to get days off. I just had the entire summer off and it was paid. I'm able to get health insurance. I'm able to get transit benefits because I did my research. I asked the necessary questions. I was persistent. I was honest, and I did what I needed to do to make sure that I got the job that I wanted. If you're thinking about joining the workforce again, it pays to take the time to do your research. If you're young and getting out of high school or college, it's important to take. These days, everybody has a smartphone. Spend some time doing some actual work on your smartphone. Do the research of the places that you're interested in. Read the reviews online about those places, even like the customer reviews, to see if this is something you want to be a part of. And with that piece of information, if you have any more questions or if you have anything that you want me to elaborate on, leave it in the comments below and I will be sure to probably make an entire video about it. Thank you guys so much for watching and see you in the next video.